Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Raina, I'm a 4th year dental student and I took the UCAT back in 2017, but I'm still really passionate about helping people and giving advice, so I'm going to try and summarise everything you need to know about sitting the UCAT this year. This video has also been very kindly sponsored by Medify, my favourite UCAT resource. I'll be speaking more about that later on in this video, so thank you very much to Medify. So firstly, what is the UCAT? The UCAT stands for the University Clinical Aptitude Test, and it's a 2-hour timed computer-based exam taken in a designated test centre. Many medical and dental schools need you to take this exam in the UK and also in Australia and New Zealand as part of their entry requirements. You need to sit the exam this year in the 2021 cycle if you're applying for 2022 entry or deferred entry for 2023. Usually the test is taken in the summer between year 12 and year 13 in the UK, and there is also another exam called the BMAT which some schools need you to take, but I won't be discussing that in this video. The UCAT is designed to assess a range of mental skills and abilities that medical and dental schools think are important, things like critically analysing passages and numbers, judging real-world scenarios, and inferring meaning from text. It helps them to differentiate between candidates because people are really doing the most out here these days, with all the necessary grades and a strong personal statement as well. So registration for the UCAT is open right now in the UK, so make sure you go and register on their website and get ready to book your test on the 28th of June, which should be tomorrow when this video goes up. Testing will then actually start from the 26th of July all the way up until the 29th of September. I will put the key dates on screen now, so make sure you do note that registration closes on the 22nd of September 2021 and the final booking deadline is the 28th of September. Of course, these dates may be subject to change, so keep an eye on the UCAT key dates page. There is also £75 test fee for tests taken in the UK, or it's £120 for tests taken outside of the UK, and there are bursaries available as well. Let's now talk about the format of the UCAT. The exam itself is not the easiest. If any of you watching this have done the exam before, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not really like anything else that you've done before, so you do have to put in the practice to get a good score if that's what you're after. There are 5 sections to the UCAT: verbal reasoning, quantitative reasoning, abstract reasoning, decision making, and situational judgment. Each section is scored separately between 300 to 900, and the first 4 are total to give you a score between 1,200 to 3,600. Situational judgment is scored differently according to a band system, with band 1 being the best and band 4 being the worst. So verbal reasoning basically assesses your ability to critically analyse and infer information from passages of text. Similarly, quantitative reasoning is doing this with numerical information and calculating values. Abstract reasoning is a bit different. It involves identifying patterns and relationships between shapes, and decision making is kind of like problem solving using various bits of information, numbers or graphs and charts. And lastly, situational judgment gets you to assess real-world problems and decide what response is appropriate. So unlike last year where the UCAT was mainly held online, this year UCAT do hopefully want to deliver it as normal at a Pearson VUE test centre throughout the UK and internationally. You can use their online test centre locator to see which test centres will be holding the exams this year. They've also said if the situation changes and they can't do in-person tests, they will offer the online exam like last year, which has the exact same content and structure. Hopefully things will be smooth sailing, fingers crossed, but UCAT recommends sitting the test as early as possible just in case there are unforeseen issues. But of course, you need to decide the best time for your own circumstances. Some people prefer to do it early and get it out of the way to enjoy the rest of their summer before year 13, or actually spend it writing their personal statement, and others prefer to revise over summer then do it near the end. As you've probably never done an exam like this before, you will need to practice questions outside of your schoolwork, and the amount of time that people need to revise will vary for everyone. Personally, I did around 6 to 8 weeks, and in the beginning this started off by doing not very much at all. I was just scoping the subject and the area, seeing what it's about, maybe trying a few practice questions along the way, and then it came down to doing several hours a day the final couple of weeks before the exam. So I can't really recommend an exact amount of time you need to revise, as everyone has different circumstances, commitments and capabilities in their life. but generally I think around 4 to 8 weeks covers everyone. Some people may start earlier but do fewer hours each week, and other people may want to start later and then do more hours each week. It really just depends. I think the biggest tip that I could give during revision is to start doing timed practice as early as possible. It's a 2-hour exam, so you really need to build your strength and stamina to get through it. I know I felt absolutely exhausted when I got to the end of that exam, but it would have been so much worse if I hadn't been doing any of the 2-hour practice tests at home. The one resource that was absolutely perfect for timed practice, and I honestly think helped me the most out of everything that I used, was Medify. A lot of you may have already heard about Medify, but they are an online UCAT revision resource where you can do a lot of timed practice questions on each of the 5 sections, as well as full-length mock tests. And they've actually just recently upgraded all students' UCAT accounts for free and doubled the number of questions, so there are over 20,000 practice questions now, lots more mini mocks, and they've tripled the number of full mocks to 21, so you can actually simulate what the real UCAT experience will be like. I personally didn't even come close to getting through all of the questions on there, so you definitely don't need to worry about running out of practice material. It's honestly so good, and I would highly recommend it. I will leave a link in the description box down below if you are interested in a subscription. So you might also be wondering, how important is the test and what score do I actually need to get into medical or dental school? Well, this varies for each school depending on their specific entry requirements. Some schools will need you to get a higher score and some a lower score. The best place to check is on their website in the entry requirements section. If it's not very clear or it doesn't really specify on the website, you can always contact the school to see what they say. I need to mention an amazing way of requesting information from universities, and that is through whatdotheyknow.com. This is where you can request any information directly to the university through the Freedom of Information Act, like what was the lowest UCAT score they gave an interview to last year. It doesn't mean that you will definitely get that information, don't think that, but they have to respond and explain why they can or can't disclose that information. So what happens after you've done the UCAT? You will get your score as soon as you've submitted your test and come out of the exam, and this score will then be automatically sent to universities through UCAS when you apply in October. You don't have to do anything else with the score other than just congratulate yourself for getting through it and take the rest of the day off. If you find you've not done as well as you wanted, remember to look carefully at that university's entry requirements that you want to apply to. Does that medical or dental school actually need you to get a high score? If not, then you might be fine. It's really important to always apply strategically, and do remember that you can't retake the UCAT in the same cycle, but you can retake it the year after if you end up getting no offers from universities, so definitely try again because loads of people don't get in the first time round. So remember, booking for the UCAT is expected to open tomorrow, so I will leave a link in the description box down below, as well as for Medify. Here is a playlist of my other UCAT videos if you want specific tips for each of the 5 sections. Drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye!